Today we're going to talk about what we're going through right now and what we can kind of expect over the next few months. And I'm entitling this series, it's a three-part series, and it's called A Prelude to the Reign of the Beast. So if the way I'm looking at the book of Revelation and the timelines that I'm seeing, if these things are accurate, then by spring of next year, we'll have the Antichrist in place and the reign of the beast. The 42-month reign of the beast will begin in April of next year. In between now and a year from now, what we have to have is the collapse of everything. So there's a saying, order out of chaos, and this is what the satanic agenda is. This is what the elites have planned, is the collapse of everything. They're going to create the chaos, and then out of the chaos, the phoenix can rise and they can create the kind of order, the kind of government, the kind of everything, the kind of world that they want. Everything has to be destroyed before that can happen. Before the beast can begin his reign, before the Antichrist can set up the way he wants to do things, okay, everything else has to be destroyed. This includes political systems, this includes the economy, educational systems, nationalism, energy, medicine, how information is dispensed, religion, everything. Everything has to be destroyed, collapsed, basically taken down. There is an agenda at play. This is something that the great men of the world want, and that's reduction in population down to, I think 500 million is what they think is a good number for being able to rule the world the way they want to. How you reduce population is through pandemics, through war, through famine, natural and unnatural disasters. All of these things bring about population reduction, which they need to have in order to be able to take control of things the way they want to. I think that the people, the rich men and of the world, that they actually have a understanding of what's coming. I think they know what's coming at us from space, for example, in terms of a body out there, whether it's an asteroid or a planet or whatever, that's coming our direction. And they have knowledge that it's going to affect the earth in an adverse kind of way, which I believe is why they've created, underground bunkers and big seed vaults and all of that sort of thing. There's been a lot of pre-programming of the population, and this has been going on really for the last 100 years or so. Things like superheroes, even back to the movie Metropolis, which was basically creating a robot that imitated people. The whole idea of aliens, which is very prevalent out there. A lot of movies about pandemics. Once you start scrolling through the list, there's tons of them. There's also movies about natural disasters, earthquakes, hurricanes, gigantic storms. And some of these, what we would consider natural disasters, can actually be manufactured disasters if you know how to place the right kind of energy in the right place. So disasters have to happen with ever-increasing frequency and magnitude. So don't expect that things are going to get any better. They are not going to get any better, and they will go from bad to worse. We're actually at the good part of this right now, because this is the beginning, and it's only going to get more difficult from here on out. One of the things that will be a problem is a lack of communication, which will happen as we progress into this time frame that we're in, and also along with that, unreliable information. So really you need to be able to seek the Lord for whatever is true, because the things coming at you probably won't be, or there'll be a mixture, which is kind of even worse. Cell service may become intermittent, that the internet may go down, all kinds of things that prohibit communication. So when the rapture, the first rapture, actually takes place, it's going to be in kind of a communication vacuum. And I've sort of said this kind of all along, that's communication will have broken down, so that the rapture itself is going to be it's going to be kind of a slippery thing. People won't be aware of what's happening, and they won't know how this is all taking place on a worldwide scale. In order to have order out of chaos, you have to have a plan for this collapse, for the chaos. You have to actually bring it on the way you want it done. It is like a controlled demolition. When you go to take down a building in a controlled demolition, you have to plant the explosives in exactly the right places in order to bring the building down. And the same thing is true with the systems in the world right now. You have to make sure that you know how to take this down in a systematic kind of way so that you don't end up destroying things that you really would rather keep. And you want to make sure that the destruction is rather complete of the things that you want to destroy. What we're looking at with this kind of pandemic thing that we're seeing in the world right now is the first domino that's going to fall. The dominoes are going to come in sets or waves, and they're going to kind of overlap each other. And this is the first domino that's actually going around the world, and it's this virus that people are getting. Personally, I think it's a bioweapon. I think it was created, and I think it was released at this time for a very specific purpose. And part of it was to reduce population, which it will do. And the other thing is that it will sort of initiate two other things. One is martial law, and people will agree to this, and for safety. And the other thing is it will look like it's collapsing the economies of the world. A lot of people will go out of business. A lot of people won't have jobs anymore. And so it'll be easy to blame the economic collapse, which is going to happen next, on the virus. But the fact is they wanted to implode the economy anyway, so this is as good a way to do it as any, and they have plausible deniability. How nice is that? The euro will collapse, the petrodollar will collapse, all the economies of the world will collapse. And once you have economies collapsing, the next thing you can expect is global war, and that's to determine who is going to control the remaining resources of the world. So all of these things that we're experiencing now and that we will be experiencing as we go on into this summer are not the opening of the seals, and they're not the blowing of the first four trumpets. This is the prelude to those things. Those things will not happen until after believers are present in heaven. If you're a believer right now, you are a priest to God in heaven, and you will be exercising priestly prerogatives and priestly roles, and that has to happen before Christ can take the scroll, before he can leave the altar of incense as our faithful high priest. He needs the replacements there, and then he can take the scroll and begin to mete out the judgments on the world. The seals are not open yet. They won't be open until after we're gone. So we actually kind of know when those things are going to happen, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit. But before the end of the summer, Israel will go into travail. That is, there'll be a war in Israel, and there'll be some kind of manifestation of fallen angels from heaven. And the United States will not be exempt from the wars that are going to take place. And while we really don't have any wars taking place on the continental United States in recent history, we are not going to be exempt from that. So you need to just kind of understand that we're headed into very, very rough waters, and things that our parents and grandparents may have never experienced will be a part of our story. So I think it's likely that there will be an invasion of China to the United States. I believe that it's possible that we may be drawn into a war with China over Taiwan. So it's from a guy named Brandon Smith, and he writes for I think it's an online publication called Alt Market, and it's kind of a financial publication. But here's what he says, and this was written in 2014. The world appears divided and chaotic exactly because it's been made that way by a select few in the globalist establishment. In fact, if you were to name any war in the past 100 years, any competent alternative analyst would easily produce undeniable evidence of the involvement of international banks and think tanks pulling strings on both sides. If you don't understand the concept of order out of chaos, then you'll never understand a thing. Engineered chaos serves several purposes. It provides distraction and cover for the elites to implement other plans that they would rather not have noticed. It also provides a scapegoat for the masses who are now divided against each other when violent changes are implemented that produce destructive consequences. The people must be placated with an easily identifiable villain. Certain changes globalists wish to make in the way of the world functions require the careful exploitation of scapegoats. And within a year from now, those scapegoats are going to be Christians. They're going to be believers. So in the next video, we're going to continue with this series, a prelude to the reign of the beast, and we're going to talk about worldwide revival and the annihilation of believers. And this is going to be something that's going to take place after the first rapture takes place this fall. I guess for the bottom line for me is this, that you need to really kind of gird up your loins, that you're in here for the long haul. There isn't going to be a rapture for Passover or Pentecost or any other day. We're in this until Israel goes into labor, okay, until Israel is in a war. The beast kingdom is not ushered in without drama and without a collapse. And this has been signaled to us in multitudes of ways over the course of many years. This is part of the satanic agenda, part of Satan's plan. The collapse of everything is going to take place. And actually, it's going to happen in waves. The first wave of collapse will happen. It's happening right now. The first domino is this pandemic. The second domino that will fall worldwide is going to be a worldwide economic collapse, and we can expect that within a few weeks. And the third wave of dominoes then is going to be world war. And we're going to be a part of that. You're going to see it with your own eyes. Really, if you know the Lord, you're doing good, okay? Because forewarned is forearmed. Just trust in Him. He'll lead you and guide you. He has never forsaken anyone who trusts in Him. He'll give you everything that you need to make it through up until the very end. And as a victor, not just as someone who's a victim. You're going to be a victor at the end of this. So until the next video, I pray you'll have a very blessed day. I hope you'll get a copy of my book, A Kingdom of Priests, The Stories of Revelation, where I talk about all of this in greater detail. So till the next time, I pray you'll have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next video.